Good afternoon, good morning. I'm Neil Zipser with the Knox Company, and welcome to our latest webinar. Today we'll be discussing how 3 fire departments have successfully launched and grown their HomeBox Loaner program. We're really lucky to have today, again, 3 fire departments. We've got Jason Washam and Jacob Maxidon from the Springfield Fire Department, tag teaming it there. I do want to mention, before they probably will later, but Springfield is currently in experiencing some weather issues and tornado watches. So hopefully they'll be able to stay with us today. If not, they may have to jump off during the session, and you know why they're doing it. They're not being rude or anything like that. We also have Don Buckley, the fire marshal with Draper City, Utah, and Craig Cookson with the Bowling Green Fire Division out of Ohio. Before we jump into the questions, I just wanted to find what a HomeBox Loaner Program is. Basically, fire departments loan a Knox HomeBox to residents who may be at a higher risk for falls, medical emergencies, or frequent EMS utilization. So it could be your high volume utilizers or other people who are just living alone who typically cannot get to the door to let in first responders. Because the HomeBox is loaned out, it can be reassigned if the needs change for that resident or homeowner. So the program offers a sustainable and cost-effective community risk reduction solution. One thing that all 3 fire departments did was get some very positive media coverage when they launched their program. We'll be sending links to some of that video footage in that follow-up email, including the Springfield, Illinois press event, which was about 10 minutes long, where they announced it. So I'm going to show a real quick 30-second video out of Bowling Green.
The fire safety program in Bowling Green is growing. City's fire division says it has bought another 23 residential Knox boxes for residents there. These are boxes placed at the entrance of homes for residents who may have a disability or who are older and can't get to the door during an emergency. This allows first responders a way to get in quickly and save lives without leaving behind a lot of damage. People who are interested in this program, welcome to apply for a box online. We've got the link on 13abc.com.
Great. And before I ask the very first question and introduce everybody, one quick note I want to make is if your department has a commercial Knox box program, it does not automatically mean you guys have home boxes available in your jurisdiction. There's a second form you have to fill out. If you are not sure if your department is home box registered, you can either send me an email or your territory sales manager an email. At the end of our presentation today, you'll be seeing the emails from all of our presenters as well as mine. So that's probably the first thing you want to get done. All right, we're going to start with Jason, Jacob. Could you guys tell us a little bit about your department? How many people in your jurisdiction? Are you seeing a rise of seniors and a rise in medical related calls and emergencies? We'll start with you guys, Jason and Jacob.
Yeah, so Springfield Fire Department serves about 68 square miles. We have anywhere from 115 to 120,000 people that we serve. We have 13 fire stations, 250 guys and gals on the department. The senior aging people are definitely, there's more now. They're staying home. They're not leaving. Maybe that's due to money or as expensive everything is, but we are seeing a rise in seniors just staying in the area. Like many across the nation, that's what we're seeing. I would say in the last 10 years, we've doubled in call volume. So where we were at like 15, 16,000 calls in 2016, now last year we were over 30,000 calls. Fire calls haven't changed much. Those are pretty staying consistent, but medical emergencies have definitely risen. So,
How about you, Craig?
Yeah, so in Bowling Green, Ohio, population, it's college town, so population with colleges, about 30,000, probably about 20,000 when college is out. Just to echo what Springfield said, yeah, so that's the rising population as well as, we're not getting fewer or more fire calls, it's emergency calls, so, or EMS calls. So yeah.
Don?
Yeah.
Yeah, Draper, we cover about 28 square miles along the south end of the Salt Lake Valley of about 50,000 residents. About 10% of that is residents that are 65 or older, and we continue to grow that senior resident area quite a bit lately. We seem to be one of the fastest growing within the metropolitan area of Salt Lake, and so yeah, we see quite a bit of medical calls increasing, and that's kind of why we kicked off our program.
All right, we're going to stay with you, Don, and you good segue into kicking off the program. What drove the start of the loaner box program? Did you already have a general home box program where residents can purchase them, or was it the loaner program that started your whole program off?
We did not have a resident program right from the get-go. We just had a regular commercial program. But I had a few folks that had come to me concerned about family members, elderly parents that were living by themselves, weren't ready to make a transition to assisted living. And they were concerned about how we would get to them in the middle of the night from the standpoint of, if they call 911, they're not able to get to the door. Our guys are going to figure out a way to get in to get to them. With that, I did a little bit of research, and I'm not originally from Utah. I'm originally was born in Georgia and grew up in the Philadelphia, New Jersey area. And when I was on the fire department back in New Jersey, we had a similar program, but it wasn't a loaner program. It was just a residential box program. And I wanted to find a way to make it so that there was no cost to the residents, but allowed our guys to be able to get in.
How about you, Jason and Jacob? What got you guys starting your program?
Well, I think it's we've covered, and just echoing everybody's input already, is the rise in the emergency response, but the delay in getting into the housing, securing it afterwards. Obviously delayed to not only get in, but to start whatever medical care would need to be implemented at that time, and then securing it afterwards. So, we reinitiated this drive and see the importance of it every day.
Craig, does it sound like the same reasons that you guys started your program?
Yeah, very similar. Again, just the time it takes to get in. I also always struggled with, we get in, we break in, and then it's up to that homeowner. Then after that, like, we'll secure it, but they still have a broken door, broken window, and seniors financially just fixed incomes. They don't have the money to do that necessarily. So, yeah, a way to fix that issue. So, yes.
You mentioned something interesting about the property damage, and I was once told by somebody that if specifically a senior sees their door broken and they should go for medical attention, that they may turn it down, that they don't want to leave the house with it being unsecure. Have any of you guys ever ran into a resident that didn't want take the medical attention or was concerned about leaving their house non-secure?
I personally have not. I've fought more flack from my fellow firefighters because we like to break things. And so, like, come on, no, we had a good response from the public. And we've never really had that issue with them not wanting to leave.
Yeah, it's
I
something.
can't say that I've ever had any issues.
Yeah, something law enforcement and fire have in common is they do like breaking things. So getting back to kicking off the program, did you have to convince anybody within your department that it was a good idea to start the loaner program? And if so, was it an easy sell or a more difficult sell than you thought? Don, we'll start with you.
For me, it was I sat down with the chief. Him and I have known each other for a very long time. We've worked together for a long time. It was an easy sell for me to him because his parents live here in Draper. They are in their older years, and when I explained to him the benefits of it, his biggest concern was, well, what kind of damage we're going to do putting that up on the house. And I said, well, that's the nice thing is with the over-the-hanger style box, we're doing very minimal damage because I have our guys put the screws in the top of the door to hold it on. But once we showed him a couple, he was on board, and it was pretty easy sell from there.
Jason, Jacob, did you guys have to convince anybody?
No, I I don't think we had to really convince anybody. You see the rise in the emergency response and the delay in the time. I know this aligns very well with our community risk reduction, program as a whole anyways. So it was great to re-implement this just recently again and get a drive. I mean, we did have support. Just presented, we have support from our alder women and alder men. They see the importance. They know what our census tract is and what the trending is. So we had the support to get another 100 Knox boxes installed in our community.
Yeah, we had an alderwoman whose area is predominantly much older, more senior people, and she was the driving force for us to get the last 100. She wanted that put in the budget because obviously, as he said, she saw the importance, and once everybody sees that, then everybody just jumps on board because who's not going to support it?
Craig, I assume you had full support too, or not really?
Yeah, we had full support. I sat down with the chief, after I saw the need and heard of the boxes. He was 100% in. It was just the financial side of it, and I'm sure we'll cover that a little bit later. But yeah, we had full support.
So how exactly, and Craig, we could start with you on this one. How did you guys create that awareness that the loaner program was out there? Was it local PR and media relations? Was it social media? Was it during smoke alarm canvassing you let people know about it? How did you create that awareness to get it started?
It was between social media, the news clip you just saw. As soon as I would message our media director with the city, she'd put something up citywide, and of course that's when the news channels got a hold of it, and we did a couple bits. So that's essentially what it just kind of took a life of its own once we announced we were going to do it, and was well received really quickly.
Jason, Jacob, I saw you guys did a press event, and again, we'll be sending that out to everybody. But was that really what got the ball moving and the awareness started?
Well, yeah. So the video I think you're speaking of actually refers to a 2024 push, and so this is our second drive, really, and so that's worked really well in the past, and we've used that video, as well, refer people to. But this time we put stuff out on social media. I think the news channel and the paper got a hold of it as well. And then I'm also the public education officer for the Springfield Fire Department. So anytime I go to senior events or talk with anybody, whether I'm presenting or doing a training, whether it be fire extinguisher training, smoke alarm training, I also bring along all the materials for the Knox box and an actual Knox HomeBox with me so people can see it and we can discuss it there, make it relevant as a tangible item for them to put their hands on and feel and discuss. So it's a good opportunity. Even if it doesn't apply to that particular group of people I'm talking to, I let them know that this is an option for their family members or somebody they know in their community. And that's how I create awareness is always having them with me.
Just to add a little more to that, like we go to HOA meetings as well. Like when we get invited, or if aldermen and women, the Hayes or anything you would want us to pass along, to our meetings. And, they have their Facebook pages and they have their own social media. So when we go there and explain stuff to them and answer their questions, and we can give them our material, and then they send that material out to them as well. So that's been beneficial.
How about you, Don?
Sorry. I was just going to say one last thing too, is you're installing these for somebody who's already in front of you. You're already at their house. I always ask for a referral or somebody they may know, and that way it gives me somebody to go on, either leaving my information or trying to acquire theirs as well, to put another one out in the community.
Yeah, for me, we, did our initial push, with our media relations folks here at the city, reached out to the media, and I know you'll be sending a clip out of our stuff that we did when we first started our program. And what we're working on now is getting with our senior centers, because we have senior centers throughout the community that they can go to during the daytime and whatnot. And I've been asked to come in and talk to them about this to kind of help further our box program. And our crews, when they go out on some of these medical calls, they'll talk to family members about, hey, have you guys thought about this? And that's kind of helped as well. So.
Yeah, I heard senior centers and HOAs, and I assume some of you guys might have the Del Webb communities out there, which focus on the seniors. Are there any other organizations that you guys work with, like churches or Meals on Wheels, anything like that? Whoever
I
wants to.
haven't, no. But that's a great idea.
So we work with churches. We work with all sorts of organizations throughout the community. I mean, I get daily phone calls, to go do public training. Like I mentioned, with any organization, we make ourselves available. And so when I go and do those trainings, I take all of this data for all of our programs and present it then. And it's very beneficial. It always hits somebody, it seems like, wherever we're at.
One question we got in advance of the webinar was from a department that said there was some reluctance from a homeowner to give a key out. They'd rather give a garage code out and not have anything attached to their home. Have any of you guys ran into any pushback from homeowners about installing the box? Springfield, we could start with you guys.
It's been very rare. Obviously they are inquisitive. By having a key out, a lot of times it does create a sense of anxiety, uncertainty for those people. I just reassure them when I'm communicating with them that we do have the commercial Knox boxes. We do have, I don't even know what's the number we have commercial-wise. Several thousand of the commercial style Knox boxes, and that it's basically the same system. There's a smaller box and that it's just put on their door. And we've been running this Knox program within our facility for years with no interruptions and no break-ins or anything like that. So it's just a reassurance for them. As far as installing them on the outer portion of the house or something like that, yeah, we've gone solely to the door hanger style, just so it's not out there and presented, for somebody to see, and it reduces the risk of property damage, etc.
I would say with selling them, just like we do business owners when they are required to put a Knox box on their building and they're worried about who has access to the keys, and we let them know that specifically only the fire department, there's maybe 40 of us that have access to that box. That kind of puts their mind at ease as well. They know that somebody else just can't come from any other organization to open that box. It's just specifically us. And then that usually eases their anxiety as well.
Yeah, and the auditing process, I guess, you know what I mean, and the accountability process of acquiring access to the keys from our cab of our engines and those type of things, like how that is implemented and how important that is that we keep track of our keys and it's known who's taking them out and putting them back.
Okay, Craig, we'll do the next question for you. You guys are going to start a program. Obviously, you have to buy them. How did you guys fund your program? Was it through grants? Did you budget it from, your annual budget? How did you guys get the funding, Craig? Oh, you're on mute. Craig, you're on mute.
I had myself off mute, and we started off with yes, a grant from our Bowling Green Community Foundation. Got $5,000 to $7,000. This was 6 years ago to start the program. As well as that, our chief matched some money in there to get some. The local Wood County Committee on Aging added some boxes in for us, and then we canvassed as well as around town and talked to Walmart, talked to Meijer, talked to the bigger businesses, and essentially that's how we got it. How we got them funds going. And again, just like everything else, kind of taking a life of its own, and we created a whole nother foundation to make money for smoke detectors, and it's working, golf outings, things like that. Now we're doing so. That's how we funded it, and like I said, that's really not been an issue as much as I thought it might be. It's not. So,
Don, how did Draper do it?
Well, I didn't get a grant. I went and I talked to my insurance agent, who happens to be in my city, and talked to him about it. He was with Farmers, and they bought 10 boxes. And then I talked to one of our restoration companies, and they got on board with it and bought 10 boxes. And then I talked to one of our fire sprinkler companies, and they purchased 10 boxes. And from there, I was able to grow it to about 40 boxes right out of the gate, where we didn't get any grant. We got them all donated because they felt like the way that I had structured the program was great, and it's been working really well for us in just talking to our local businesses and getting them to see the need and help us out that way.
How'd Springfield get their money?
We got ours through grants and budgeting, in short, through the community risk reduction programs. But recently, and I'll let Jason speak on that, maybe we now have like a Knox program, like the loaner program, to where they can also purchase it themselves, right?
Yeah, so as you well know, probably, we have the loaner program option, and I know we'll talk about screening folks and determining who gets who qualifies, the qualification programs and or questions and such. But yeah, we do have that ability when I do receive the phone calls. We do have our set amount now, and then we do have the ability, obviously, to refer them to Knox to purchase them if that's something that they want to do. They want to own one. They're in the position to do that. Don't necessarily meet the requirements, initially or immediately. Then we refer them to you guys, because you guys do a great job with customer service and walking them through that process.
We have heard some departments get grants through FEMA's fire prevention safety grants. That deadline is June 22nd at 5 p.m. Eastern next week. One of the materials that we will be sending out after this is, I guess you could say, a grant template. We don't recommend cutting and pasting the verbiage, but it will give you guys some idea to knock out a grant pretty quick. For those of you on the call who want to rely on the FP&S grant, we'll get that to you as fast as possible, as well as a list of other organizations such as Walmart's Foundation and Allstate Nationwide Firehouse Subs that also provide money for things like this. So we'll send everybody links to that as well afterward. So let's just jump into the criteria of who gets a box. We've seen a few questions from panelists or from attendees on that. You go out there, there's some people that it might be a very nice house, and you're wondering, gosh, do we have to loan this to them? Or, they could afford it financially. It could be one where you're not sure if they're going to be a high volume utilizer or not. So let's start talking about the criteria. Jason, Jacob, since you brought that up, we'll start with you guys. What criteria does somebody have to get a loaner box?
Well, I think through the process, and discussing and talking with them, usually it's a phone call I receive, and we go through the process, qualification series of questions that pertain to immediate medical care, repeat, medical response, from our guys, or ALS. So we talk about that, and we do have people that can afford them that have our boxes. Like, there's no way to avoid that, and that's not the point. My point being is I would rather focus on the emergent situation over the financial side initially, because if we have somebody who, needs immediate care that we need to get immediate access to, that person is going to get the box, right? Then at a later date, and what I've done in the past is I will say, all right, if you want to purchase one, or when you want to purchase one, this is how you do it. And I'll follow up in 90 days. I usually give them like a window of time to get through whatever emergency situation they have, giving us access quickly, and then follow up with them on the purchase of them getting one, so we can put that back into circulation for somebody else.
Craig, how about you? What criteria do you guys have?
I mean, we initially advertise it as, elderly or physically handicapped. We haven't really had an issue of anybody outside of those two areas. So yeah, I really have not had any issues or problems trying to decipher, maybe you don't need one yet, or so be it. So yeah.
One, you have to be a homeowner within the city of Draper. We do not put them on apartments. because they change out so often. And we know that we have property management on site to be able to help us get in if we need to get in. Most of our homeowners were kind of a higher end community. That being said, it's not just for seniors. If you have a medical need, you submit that to us and we'll get you a box. I know that one of the questions that came up that I've seen is the time frame. We check in with them. We'll give it to them for a year, and we check in with them every year after that, especially with the seniors, because we check on them a little more often. We do give the option that they can buy their own if they choose to. We just ask that when they do go to transition, whether they move away or they transition to assisted living or whatever the situation may be, that the family then donate the box back to the program, because it can't be used in any other city. It's only keyed for our city. So we make sure that we get that back in to the program, and we track them on a regular basis. So,
Craig, when you loan yours out, is there a certain amount of time frame that you give it to them for, or do you just wait till something in their life happens, they move, they go to a nursing home?
We
They
essentially do the same thing. Don said about after a year they get it. We call them every year thereafter. Um, get secondary numbers in case we can't reach them for some reason in that year. And we call that secondary number and check in and see what's going on, and we'll remove it if need be. Again, if they pass away, if they go to a home, a nursing home of sorts. So yeah, basically set up just like them.
Jason, Jacob, you guys follow up as well?
Yeah, the intent is when they get one, they're gonna utilize it until they don't need it. But we do check back with them annually, with the type of audit. Just, hey, check and see if they've changed locks, even, if we need to change keys. That happens frequently. We find around here, so we always follow up for that reason as well. But usually they're going to keep it as long as they need it, and we follow up annually with them.
Don, when you guys put them up, do you make the homeowner sign an agreement that basically relinquishing any liability from the fire department, or requiring them to contact the fire department if they leave? And, is there any agreement that they have to sign?
yeah, we have an agreement put together that they initial, just saying that they understand that this box is a loaner box. If they do happen to move, they don't get to take the box with them. And that we will be contacting them. And with what we've put together so far, it seems to go over pretty well, because most of the folks, it's either a family member asking us to put one on grandma and grandpa's house or mom and dad's house. And then we have those homeowners that call us specifically to say, hey, this is a pretty good idea, we want to have it. I had some folks move in from California that they travel back and forth and felt like that was a great idea to have, just in case, even if their kids were home alone and had an issue, that we could be able to get in. But yeah, we have them sign an agreement so that we can make sure that they fully understand what the expectations are.
Craig, do they have to sign anything in your jurisdiction?
Yes, they sign an agreement with us as well. I put a serial code on each of the boxes too, or a number, so we can track the boxes. If it shows up at the fire station, gets returned, and generally the people working don't get me a whole lot of information. So that number on there, at least I can track it down to where it came from and sort it out. So, yeah.
Springfield, anything I'm assuming you guys have a contract too, or agreement?
Yeah, we have an agreement. Just basically, what the purpose is, why it's there. We install it, obviously, the visibility, they can't move it, right? It has to stay where it is. We just recently updated ours after we went through some of the old agreements that we've had. And, we put in their box retrieval and termination terms, loss, damage, or failure to return. And then just also incorporated the department, the individuals, the city, just basically, being held harmless for any, installation, that type of thing, but that they put a little bit of onus back on the recipient to get it back to us. Then at that point, we write down the serial numbers, addresses, phone numbers, secondary, contact, alternate contacts, etc.
I'm going to jump into a couple questions from the attendees, see if you guys have any answers. That one is, says we require homeowners to buy home boxes. Have you had people ask to sell them back to you when someone passes away or changes owners? If so, how do you handle that? Have you guys ever had anybody trying to do that?
We've not had anybody try to offer to sell them back to us, but we have had them donated back. I know I've received a few boxes that, since I've been here, that have just been given back to us.
I was gonna say that most of the time that's, if they buy their own, I have it listed within our agreement that if they purchase, they have the option to purchase their own, but we ask them to donate it back because it's once they move, if they move outside the city or they don't have that house anymore, it doesn't do them any good anywhere else. And most of them, I've never had any pushback.
We only
actually,
have,
go ahead, Don.
let's
Craig,
say,
sorry.
no, that's all right. We only have about 170 boxes around town. I say only, I think that's great. I guess Springfield has a few more, but only one of those is a purchase by the homeowner. So we haven't really run into any issues there. So
Another question out there, do you have an average measured time savings between having to force entry and having an available home box? What about an average cost savings? Have you guys had to justify with any data? How about Springfield? You're shaking your head.
I mean, you're saving several minutes. I mean, we know that, right? Like, we're not trying to get in through a window, seeing if something's unlocked, trying to sneak in through the back door, just, trying to pick locks, waiting on family member. Can you crawl to the door? We got to knock all that out. Cost savings, I mean, we figured it $1,000 to $4,000 depending upon the type of door, that we're taking. And then it's which door do you want to take? Do you want to take the front door? Do you want to take the back door? Do they have furniture behind one of the doors? It just depends. Sometimes it's hard to get in a resident anyway, especially when they're living alone. Sometimes they hoard a little bit. So you're dealing with that as well. But to answer the question, you might want to add a little more. You're saving several minutes.
Craig and Don, anything you want to add?
No, that's spot on.
yeah, by the time you make that lap around the house, checking underneath floor mats, underneath flower pots, doing all that. And then if you have to break in, you're talking 5 minutes probably. So it's a key 5
I
minutes.
even have those, Neil, you mentioned, garage door codes, but we have some of our homes have door locks on them that have the keyless entry. So you got to punch in a code to get in. And with those, we're just having to put the code in the door, in the box. And if they happen to change it, we ask them to give us a call so we can update it. But we also tie the other thing that we do that kind of helps too with identifying what homes have boxes and what don't is we use a program called First Due. And we're able to put that on each premise that has a box, and it tells the crew where the box is there a key in the box, is there a code in the box. We even have a backup to where we can put the code into the notes so that they can pull that up even faster. So
Craig, is that similar where you're at? Is it in the CAD system? Does dispatch know there's a home box?
We're working with our dispatch. We're not quite there yet. It's just a technical issue that we're having, trying to get that in. We do have on our iPads in the trucks, we do have a program that you can see the Knox boxes, hydrants, all the things we're looking for. So yes, we do have an iPad in our trucks that have that, just not quite with dispatch yet. But it's being worked on, so it's definitely in the future.
Jason Jacob is in your CAD system, or how would firefighters know?
Yeah, so we've discovered a kind of a work through for us recently. So it's been nice actually that we're always willing to learn, and this taught us something that we fill out the paperwork, the agreement, send it in, and then we found with our CAD system there is something that we can do to basically instantly put this in to notify our responding units that there is an alert on the way that there is a Knox box, a Knox home box that's installed in the residence. So we are working through updating all those as well. Yeah,
as we speak.
Yeah.
So my local fire department, not to be named, with the increase in medical emergencies, they don't send fire to all the emergencies. If especially if they don't think that there's going to be a recovery effort of some kind. I don't know if your departments run into that at all, or if you send some way to all of them. But if in any of your jurisdictions you don't send fire to any of them, does EMS then have the ability to open up the home box? Anybody want to take that?
From the Springfield side, no, we're the only ones with the keys. We just asked EMS because we don't respond to some of their private calls and some of their own, internally driven, I would say, calls. We just ask the communication, and I feel like that works out pretty well for us. If they go often and then we actually respond with them, they're really good about communicating with us, and then they in turn let us know in our fire safety division that recommended for a Knox box.
Yeah, with us, we're a fire EMS department, so both the engine or the ladder and the ambulance go together regardless of the call.
We're fire EMS as well, so we do have both going. We are adjusting our response model, so we're going to have engine not with us all the time, so kind of curious to see how this plays out. I mean, we have halogens and such on the ambulance, but no strong arms or fun stuff. So kind of curious to see how that plays out. We just call back for help or if we're able to do it. But so again, those home boxes are a lifesaver for sure. So
let's talk about installation of these a little bit. I assume you all use the door hanger one. If not, let me know. But who from the fire department typically goes out there and installs them? And do you guys have a consistent installation place for them? So they're always on the front door, always on the back door, something like that. I know obviously with the commercial boxes, they're always at the front door. With law enforcement boxes for schools, they put them up somewhere tactically smart. Do you guys have consistent placement, and who's the one who installs them? Start with you,
we
Craig.
definitely, okay, sorry. We definitely have a consistent, I always try to stress the front door. To go back to that CAD system, the issue that we have, I really like it. I'll be on that front door so it does not get missed. So yeah, just always try to hang the front door, put the sticker right there so guys can't miss it at 3 a.m. So far, we haven't had any pushback from that. So
How about you, Don?
I definitely try to put them on the front door. We have had requests to put it on a side door. We just make sure we notate that within our program. And as far as who goes out and installs it, I utilize it as an opportunity for our crews to get out into the community. So that first in area for that station, they're the ones assigned to go put it in. And it gives them a chance to educate the homeowner and do, a fire safety inspection with them to maybe point out some other fire safety issues they may have within the home that they want to have addressed. We felt that was the best way to handle that because my prevention division is myself and my inspector, and that's it. So if I was to try to do it, I'd get overwhelmed with everything else I have, and just thought it was a great way for the community to get to meet the firefighters face to face.
Jason,
Don, I like that idea. I do all of ours. I have a partner, so the two of us do them all. Part of it's because we don't want to boxes get misplaced, and everybody's, is good with the paperwork and making sure everything's good. But I really like that idea. We're going to be.
Yeah, I do all the paperwork and I deliver the box to the station on the day it's going to get installed. That way, there's no misplacement of the box. They know exactly where to put it. I just give them everything and have them schedule the time for that day. But it's worked out really well.
How about Springfield?
There's 9 of us that are in the fire safety division, I believe, right now, and we're all trained to put them in, and we all do it very similarly, or actually the same, I would say. I do most of the installation. They're stored in my office. I'm outside of really everything where my office is, so I've got a great place to store ours. Then that way I can keep track of them, serial numbered. I can make sure they're all stickered with our contact information. So if they do need to be returned, but yeah, I install them, go over home safety checklist, fire escape planning, all the home safety visits. It usually leads to smoke alarm. We check those or install them, update them as we need as well. So it's kind of a nice thing. And then I hand those over to our administrative assistant, and she takes care of all that paperwork for me.
Yeah, and go to kind of what Draper Fire does, where they sends out their crews. I know this is about Knox, but our smoke alarm program, our crews do that. We do it as well.
Mm-hmm.
But on like Wednesdays and Saturdays, that's their crew's responsibility, like when they in that area. So that's how they get out and in the community and do home safety visits that way.
Have any of you guys ever run to the issue? There's obviously the security main door, and then you've got the screen door in some homes. If you've run into that, which I'm sure you have, do you put the box on the screen door or the main security door? And if it's a security door, do you tell them not to lock the screen door, or how does that work? Have any of you guys ever run into that?
Every time. It seems like everybody wants to lock that storm door and their
Yep.
deadbolt door. So we're working through that. I try to convince them that, I wouldn't leave them in harm's way. We can leave that storm door open. We do have some of the storm door hangers as well that Knox provides. So if it works on their model, then we can go ahead and, put it on that outside door if they have a key for it. So, but that definitely is something that nearly every time they have a storm door that they like to lock, and trying to convince them otherwise or other options or such it's always, usually we usually win, but so.
Yeah, I've looked out. I haven't had too many screen doors that get locked. It's mostly just the front door, and so it's kind of worked out to our advantage a little bit.
And we just got a question. How do you address doors on mobile homes? They're obviously not very solid. I think, Don, you said it has to be a home, not an apartment. Does that
Correct.
include mobile homes too, or?
Well, luckily I don't have very many mobile homes in my city. The mobile home park we do have, if you want to call it a mobile home park, they're travel trailers that are parked there, that people live out of, and those ones we don't put them on at all because we can get into those fairly easy.
Craig, do you guys have any mobile homes with loaner boxes?
We do have mobile homes. I've had no issues with putting them on mobile homes or issues with the doors. Yeah, they're not commonly as heavy as a larger home's door, but we've had no issues. And when they're closed, we all know how solid these boxes are. You can explain, that the box is the problem if they think they're going to break in or do something, so, but they hang just fine from that mobile home door. So,
Any issues in Springfield with mobile homes?
We were just talking. I don't think either one of us has installed one on a mobile home. We know that they're out there and been installed, but we can't speak personal experience.
Yeah.
I did like that question because we all know how heavy all Knox boxes are.
Yeah.
Of course, the home box isn't as heavy as a commercial box, but it's still heavier than it looks. So,
It is.
Do you guys have any issues with homes that are on the boundaries of two fire agencies, two jurisdictions? If so, how do you get around that?
I do, and the way how we get around it is we make sure that one of our BCs is dispatched as well, so that they can assist that crew coming in from an adjacent city. And then with us we're working on going to the 𝗍𝗃 program. We'll probably, although I'm probably not going to update the home boxes to the 𝗍𝗃, so we'll stay a 2-key department, and we'll probably still just keep the BCs going out on that call, or if one of our units isn't available.
Craig, do you have any multi-jurisdiction issues?
we do not here. Everything around us is very rural, so one of our neighboring departments, a volunteer department, has started a program as well. Worked with them some, but again, it doesn't really affect our response in working with them.
How about Springfield?
No, we don't have any issues with it. Neighboring communities, I just asked him, the largest next to us is Chatham, and they have their own program of some sort. The benefit is if somebody calls or if we recommend it, when they get on Knox specifically, they put our department in, right? So they should know if we're the ones that respond to them, or we'll be able to tell them if they're in our jurisdiction or not, if that was to ever come up. But no, we haven't had any issues.
Do you guys have any metrics that you track as far as less property damage caused by the fire department, faster response times, which you kind of talked about before? Are you able to show any type of metrics as a result of the loaner program? How about you, Craig?
Bowling Green does not. We track if we use them or not. It's in our patient reports. You got to mark if you use the box. So I'll track their usage, but as far as metrics and all that, we do not have any.
Yeah, I don't
Don?
have any.
Jason, Jacob?
No metrics per se, but we know that we're saving, the upfront costs, the anxiety and whatnot that causes for whoever we're responding to if we did have to tear, or break in or whatever it is. And if they have caregivers, we measure it by that as far as how are we saving these folks, whether it be insurance premiums and everything else. So we go up against those metrics, but as far as what we're actually saving dollar wise or something like that, no.
And it's only when our crews force the wrong door.
We just got a question from the audience. I think we touched on this, but do any of you guys use dual keyed or dual mastered keyed boxes, giving access to neighboring departments who might get there before you? It doesn't sound like you do, but I'll ask that again one more time just to make sure.
We don't.
We do not.
No, we don't.
I had a question emailed to me this morning by somebody who couldn't make the webinar, but they wanted me to ask this. In their jurisdiction, they actually require registered Airbnbs and other rental homes to have a home box. I don't know if you guys have any requirement like that, but if one of those rental homes, would you ever make those part of a home box program? Does Springfield have a Airbnb or rental home issue?
We actually make Airbnbs put commercial up. So
interesting.
Make them spend a little more money. But other than that,
we have to have access.
Yeah.
I like that idea because we just started, we're getting a push for Airbnbs and short-term rentals within our city. And so it's one of the things that, because we're in the process of writing that ordinance, on looking at doing. It's not something that I thought about until you guys just brought it up. But that makes it a great point to where, if it's an Airbnb, they can purchase the box to put on there, and we can keep it a home box as long as they don't change the lockout, and we'll have the property owner's information. So I think it'll work out pretty well.
So the reason we have them do a commercial box is because Airbnbs can rent out rooms and they'll have more than one key to the property. And that's why we have them put the commercial up, because they can have 4 different rooms, separate. So that's why we end up doing it that way.
That's a good point.
We don't have a large volume of Airbnbs or things like that. We do have a lot of rental homes and a lot of those do have the commercial boxes on them. So being a college town, so.
Yeah, I know a couple universities that actually put home boxes up on the fraternities and sorority homes too. I don't know if you guys do that at all.
We're using the commercial boxes for those residences. So, yeah.
There's one question I want to make sure I definitely ask is I'm guessing a lot of people on the webinar today are looking at or considering starting a home box program. So I want one piece of advice from all of you or each of you on what advice do you have for department thinking about starting a loaner program? Springfield, we'll start with you on this one.
I mean, my advice would be just do it, right? Like, don't overthink it, start somewhere. Obviously, you got to procure funds. But I think that's easily done when you can, present the advantages from every angle and every aspect, not just from the person we're responding to, but to our personnel as well. And then the tail end of how are we leaving that house? Are we securing it? What headaches and are they capable of handling after? So, it reduces property damage, reduces the time it takes for us to get to provide the medical care. So just start, wherever that is. If it's with 5 boxes, 10 boxes, and then create awareness. That's my advice.
Yeah.
Craig?
I think the
I got
guy.
the same.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, we'll go back to
Sorry.
Springfield. I'm sorry for interrupting. Why don't you guys finish up in Springfield?
No, I just wanted to piggyback what he said about with the crews. Like, we're running more and more calls, so just the ease to get our guys in and out faster is beneficial for their health as well.
I mean, the
Great.
same as what Jason said, just do it. It's been a great program. We started off with 20 boxes, and as I ordered approximately 20 at a time, I'm just like, okay, at what point do we hit our max? I don't want a bunch of boxes sitting in a cupboard with nowhere to go. So, like I said earlier, we're at 170 now, and I'd like to be at 200 by next year at this time. So, and at this point, they're still rolling out the door. So just do it. And like I said, find your funds, and it's been a fun project for me. So,
Don, words of wisdom from Utah.
So for me, I'm going to echo the fact of just started. There's always a need. It is one of what you can call a low-hanging fruit for community risk reduction, right? We all have seniors within our communities. And that's really what got this started for us was, look, they're already living on very minimal means. So the loaner program made sense, right? They can't necessarily afford to pay for a box. And having the program is great. Getting it started, again, like Jason, don't overthink it, but reach out to your local businesses and talk to them about what you're trying to do, because now what you're doing is building that fire department business relationship. And you're going to find that a lot of your local businesses, even if they can provide 1 box, 1 is more than none, right? And that's kind of how I sold it to the businesses that I approached was, I'm not asking you to provide 10. I'm asking you if you can even provide 1. That helps out a senior in need or somebody with a medical condition in need. But definitely get it started and don't hesitate. It's not a huge challenge, and once it gets going, it's really simple to keep going.
Had a fire department also send a recommendation here. They said get your local mayor or city council or state representative involved in the launch too. It buys some goodwill, and they could take credit for it, but at the same time, they got the fire department's or they may support the fire department and other initiatives. Have you guys gotten your local politicians involved at all?
Oh, yes. Yeah, mine jumped all over it. He was excited about it, our mayor. Our council's been on board with it. It's starting to grow in our state. Right now, I'm about the only one in our state that's got the program going. We've had a few approach me on it to figure out how to get it started, and I'm always willing. I know you guys will end up with our contact information, but feel free to reach out to us. And I'm sure that my fellow guys that are on here are more than willing to answer any questions for you.
Couple quick more questions in the chat box here. Did you offer businesses advertising on a box that they donated? Or how
We're
did you
not
give
big
them?
enough to do that, but
Yeah. Did you give them a shout out on social
yeah, we
media?
gave him a shout out on social media.
yeah, between social media and those news clips that we saw, I always tried to push where we got the money from and let that be known. So,
Will the loaner boxes use the same key? Can it be the same key our current boxes use? I assume they mean the new E key that Knox has. Uh, the home box key uses the same key as the commercial box program. It's up to that department if they want to upgrade to the E key or not. But home boxes do come with that E key core. Another question: do each of your departments place their own stickers on the Knox home boxes, and can they share what those stickers look like?
I don't put any
Stickers are
additional
all
stickers
stickers.
on mine.
we use the sticker that comes with the box, and just that's the only one we have.
I'll get one.
Is he getting one to show off?
Yeah.
Gonna go get one.
That one.
Okay, there was also a question about reduced rate for the home box. I was going to bring this up at the end. But yeah, for every 30 home boxes ordered from Knox for the loaner program, you get 5 free ones. So for the departments out there thinking about applying for a grant, don't apply for 25, don't apply for 20, apply for 30, and you'll get 5 free ones over there. Wow. And here comes the drama. Here comes the box.
Here's I don't know where I need to put that.
Little
So-
right there.
I don't know if you
There
can
you go.
see that, but yeah, it's one of the metal stickers, and it just has our contact information on the side of it. There's the Knox box logo on the other side, but pretty simple. We have those ordered, and I put them on.
Do you guys put the Knox sticker that comes with the box on the screen door or the storm door at all?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you covered that earlier, but I know some people were talking about putting them on the front door, the back door, side doors if they're on a corner. Some of the homes that I've installed them on have the almost a custom door because of the age of the house, or they're the old wooden doors, and if they don't fit because of the steel or whatever, we will put it on the side door or the back door. But then before I leave, we always put some sort of sign in that next to an additional sticker that you guys have provided stating Knox box is located, with an arrow or on street said side. So our guys know when they do pull up.
Well, great. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Great job by all you guys. Let's see. The next slide will show everybody's contact information here. And like Don said, I don't think any of these guys mind if you reach out to them. This information will also be on the email that we send out to everybody afterward. Let me do one more check of the questions. I think we talked about most of these. One said, how do you manage or track your inventory of loaner boxes? Anybody want to jump on that one real quick?
I just track the serial number of the box. I have a Google sheet that I use, and that way my inspector hands one out, she can update it there. But I have all the numbers listed so we know exactly which box is assigned where.
We had somebody ask if the agreements can be shared with attendees. Do you guys feel comfortable sharing those agreements and we could send them out?
Yeah, I'll get mine to you.
Our thing was somebody asked for a price. It's around $225, I believe, $230 for the one with the door hanger. I might be off a few bucks on that, but we'll include that in everything we send out as well afterwards. So here's our information. Again, thank you everybody who attended the webinar, and thank you definitely to the panelists for your time today. Be safe out there. Thank you.
Thank you.